Okay, so number 3 is quite a simple one, and people tend to become a little bit complacent with their steering. Number 3 literally is not having proper control of the steering. Now that could be letting go of it, letting it slide through your hands. It could be you doing this with the steering wheel. It might just be a case of that you're not steering correctly and you're not getting out when you should get out, or you're coming out of a junction, you're crossing over a white line because you've not steered quickly enough. So again, this is all just about me showing you things that you shouldn't do and things that you really should do. Now, most instructors in the UK will teach push-pull steering. From my point of view, it's probably the safest, and the only reason why I say it's the safest is because of airbags in modern day cars. If your hands are doing push-pull steering, which is this sort of effect, yeah, if the airbag goes off, your hands are on the outside of the steering wheel. You start using hand over hand steering, which is fine as long as you've got good control over the car. If the airbag did go off and you're in this sort of position, there's a possibility you could get your hand thrown into your face with the airbag as well. It's gonna work, all right. Single hand steering like this, unless you're maybe in a car park or doing a slow speed maneuver, it's not recommended at all. It's too easy to slip off. You get slippery hands in the winter, in the summer when you've got sweaty hands or something, you can slip off and the steering wheel is going to naturally try and centralise itself back to straight again. That could throw you in the path of an oncoming car or onto the pavement or something like that. So we don't recommend that sort of steering at all. The recommended place to hold the steering wheel is sort of 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock or 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Some people steer down here and that is fine. But you don't have as much strength in your arms down here, and likewise if you steered up here all the time, again you're going to get achy elbows. Someone will hold the steering wheel in the middle like this and it's messy. You know, if you hit a big pothole, the steering wheel can be sort of ripped out of your hands type thing. So it just, you know, try and do what your instructors have taught you. None of them are trying to make your job hard. They're trying to give you the safest options, and these are sort of tried and tested methods. They've proven to work for years and years and years. Take their advice. You know, see so many people driving around, you know, one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on their lap, or one hand on the gear stick. Again, you hit a pothole and it throws that one hand off the steering wheel, because it will rip the steering wheel out of your hands. It's just not safe. If you've got two hands, use them. You know, this is the safest option. Okay, so just going to show a few things. I'm going to move the camera slightly just so you can see the steering wheel a little bit more. Things that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, right, so I'm going to move off. So up ahead there's a junction on the left. I'm going to turn left. Alright, so by all accounts I'm going to make a deliberate mistake here. Okay, so as we turn into the road, and as you can see, I'm not steering quickly enough. I've gone over the white line and then I've oversteered, yeah, to try and get myself back. That's then forced me sort of towards the curb. Lack of steering control. Okay, that's one simple method. I could have steered too quickly and then I could have hit the curb as I turned in. So there's too little steering, too much steering, that's steering control. I could get to the corner here and I could try steering around the corner one-handed. Examiner's going to absolutely detest that. Yeah, it's terrible practice. You know, hand on your leg. Again, if the steering gets ripped out of my hands, you can see naturally it wants to straighten itself up. That's what it's going to do, and if you're doing that at speed, it's going to cause you big issues. Okay, end of the road, we're going to turn right. Some of the biggest mistakes that learners will make when they first all start driving is that they don't move their hands, so they hold it in the correct place, and as they come out of a junction they do this, and then their hands are tied up. Look what's happening, I can't turn anymore, I'm going to hit that car. Lack of steering control. So I've now got to reverse back, could be inconveniencing loads of other people, to then put on some additional steering. The bonus with push-pull steering is that it's endless. You can keep steering, you know, to full lock in both directions, and your hands don't get tied up with each other. And again, at the end of this road, I'm going to turn left again. Going to be emerging, but again, exactly the same sort of thing. If I put on too much, oh, I've come up behind this car, that's messy. And of course then I try and pull off, and I'm looking all around me, my line of sight is terrible, and then of course I've not put on enough steering, I'm really close to this parked car, and the examiner's going to sort of wet himself. Yeah, it's poor steering technique. Make sure you put on enough or a little as is needed to achieve what you need to achieve safely. Okay, it's not rocket science, none of it. None of driving is rocket science. It's just repetition, building up your skills and making sure that it keeps you and everyone else around you safe. I mean, it's what driving is. When we're teaching you to drive, it's all about safety, 100%. Okay, so again, just two little samples there of poor steering control. Okay, so I'm just going to pull in, so I'll turn the video off.